Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of the intro course for Tour of the Chakras. My name is Angelique Baffieu of Mystics Alchemy 9. And in this second part of our class, we're going to be doing a meditation to awaken and stimulate the subtle anchorage body of the chakra system on the inside of ourselves. And that essentially is awakening the channel. So even if you were to take your own fingers and go right to the pelvic bone, and then softly, without pressing, just begin to draw a line up through the side, through the left side, traveling up to the left of the sacral, the left of the belly button, the left of the solar plexus, the left of the rib cage, the left, which my image might be reversed, so it might look like I'm doing right, but I'm doing that left. And then traveling up through the face, above the left eye, over through the brow point where the third eye is, down through the right, softly touching the cheek, traveling down, merges at the throat, travels back over the right-hand side. This is our governor's channel. It feeds based on one subchakra, the Dandian, which is just slightly to the left, overlapping the sacral chakra, travels back down over the root and anchors right there to the left of the sacral chakra at one of the most vital energetic points of our whole system. The as above of it are the adrenal glands, which are located at the base of the ribs, and centrally the feature that sends all chemical messaging to the brain about our emotional and mental balance to the high heart. So it is a vital subchakra. Sub, not meaning better or worse, right? But sub just meaning slightly smaller. But just because something is small does not mean it doesn't feed, right? So that subchakra feeds this whole channel, which is internal, even though we drew the line on the outside of ourselves, right? That's internal. So it's within our energetic system. And it runs around the central the central channel. And that central channel runs parallel to the spine, right? And so it is where all of those trumpets of the chakras are connected at the center. So we have the front and back of the chakras, and in the center is the spine. And the central channel runs somewhat parallel and somewhat overlapping to the spine. And this is why we need meditative posture. So with meditative posture, it is important to get yourself, whether you're on a chair or on a meditation pillow. So there are ways to do this if you're not down with getting on the floor. But what is absolutely important is that we are not slumped. Slumping does not align the chakras, and it gives no space or room for them to slump. So to identify this, because we all have habits of sitting, from sitting in office chairs and cubicles and school desks, and where we end up over the laptop and this stuff. So what we want to do is make contact with the root, just the physical aspect of it, which is touching our tuchus, right? Touching the sits bones. The sits bones are right under the cushiest parts of our bum. And we want to imagine this like a triangle, right? So if the cushiest parts of our bum, those two bone points, are the back of a triangle, right? And so the triangle, it's as if we're sitting on a triangle. And the front of that triangle, the front point, is the pelvic bone. Whether we're male or female, it doesn't matter, it's the same. So what we want for that triangle, we don't want the point to be up, being pulled up, so that, like we're doing Pilates, we're not pulling into our belly button, we're not pulling our belly button to our spine. We are not pulling the tail back, and we're not rolling the tailbone under. All of these things can really offset the root, because the root chakra one of the primary bone structures it connects to is the spine. Right? So a way to do this can just be to lean forward and touch your tuchus, touch those sits bones, and just press against them just to identify them. And then slowly unravel at the hips, right? At the hips, not at the spine. So the hip joint is right where the thighs fit in at the top into the pelvic bone, right? So bring your fingers there to the tops of the legs. And even if you're sitting on a chair, you can do this. Just move forward off the chair. You'll be using your feet to balance you, spread apart, hips width distance, and touching those sits bones, and then really slowly releasing back into the chair and making contact and not even unrolling fully yet. And then start to identify your pelvic bone, and you can touch if you need to identify that space, right? So a lot of us are not aware of how these parts are habitually being held. So it's kind of important, it's really important to start to make contact with these areas to make conscious what is unconscious. So we're gonna touch personal, and then we're gonna release back into the chair, and then we're gonna really slowly begin to just unravel upward, right? So the spine is aiming up like an arrow, softly, no pressure, no military style, up two. But we're just gonna keep our focus on the pelvic bone and the sits bones. Just continuing to meet the cushion of where we are sitting. And we're not gonna roll back any further than these 3 points making contact, balanced contact with the cushion. And so as you do this, what you'll notice is that there'll be a slight curve at the lower back, which is natural. It's the S curve. So your back is not perfectly straight. There is a bit of a curve at the lower back. And it may feel to you, if you are not used to sitting this way, like you're diving forward, but you are not. So if you're sitting in a chair, your feet are flat on the floor. Not just tippy toes touching, flat on the floor. So find either a chair that works for that or inch forward, because when we're sitting like this, we don't even need the back of a chair to lean on. Our spine starts to activate and is doing naturally what it needs to do to up like an arrow. The bones are doing it. The muscles don't have to help. That being said, if you are new to meditative posture like this, true meditative posture, then it may take some time for the postural muscles to build up, simply because we have not been really engaging them in the way that we were made to engage. So be patient with yourself. Meditation is not a promise for comfort. It shouldn't be excruciatingly painful, but it is not necessarily comfortable to sit with ourselves in this much awareness. So if you're not comfortable, congratulations. And if you are, congratulations. It's all good. So, the Tibetan breath. This breath is an activating breath for the systems that I have mentioned, for the governors and central channel of the chakra system. It aligns and grounds the system immediately within the practice. To some, this will come very naturally, and to others, this will take time and practice. Never waste your time by saying that you cannot do something. We'll be awakening the subtle body and subtle awareness. Now, the entry point of the breath, it is drawn from the mouth even though we are breathing in through the nose. So as if the breath were coming in through the back. And it may have a sound to it. It is a sounded inhale. The breath is coming from the highest point of the nose. So when we hear someone breathing from the front of the nose, this is not the area where we are drawing in. So even if you were to softly close your nostrils and then take a breath in, but imagine taking the breath from closest to the eyes. So a nice, slow, long breath. Now we're not closing them completely, we're just closing them to prove the point that that breath can come in through this higher point. Now, if you were taking a breath from down here, it could sound. Now that is a different breath process. It belongs to pranic practices, and so we're not doing that. It is a subtle, soft breath, and it is warmed when it comes in through this point. And so that breath will be drawn in through this point, and then it's going to travel in through the mouth, through the back, and that energy is going to start to activate downward. So we're going to place the tip of our tongue on the roof of our mouth. This should not be something that's straining. It doesn't take a lot of muscular action. It is a soft touch of the tip to what is known as the alveolar ridge, which is just behind the front teeth. You may even have a little dent there in the roof of the mouth at the hard palate. So just feel around with your tongue behind the front teeth, and it's about 1/2 inch to 1 inch depending on the size of your jaw. And your tongue will just fit right into it. When connected properly, this releases the jaw. So you'll notice that the only thing keeping your mouth closed are your lips, not your teeth. So the palms, whether or not we're making a mudra, a gesture, or not, are very important when we are practicing meditation. When your palms are pressed downward, the palms are on the thighs, we're connecting into our own energy. And this may be good in the sense that we're connecting to ourselves, but in meditation, it's good to have balance, to have, I am connecting to myself, and I am receiving information. And dependent on the intention of our meditations is how we want to position to make a conscious choice of how we are directing our palms. So for this meditation, we're going to do the right palm upward, skyward, and just rest it on your thigh. And then we're going to take our left palm and we're going to place it palm down so that it's rested on the thigh. And to make sure that we're not stressing out our shoulder blades and closing off our back heart chakra, we're going to first bring these two palms very close to the hip joint, to where the thigh fits into the pelvic bone. And then very slowly, in a measured way, begin to release slowly downward until you start to feel the shoulder blades spread out to their full width. And so if you go too far, it'll start to put strain on the lower back, really subtle strain, but then it's putting the weight of the skull on the spine, and we don't want that. So then you can just slowly move forward until you find that balanced place where your spine is fully released, like an arrow. As we draw in the breath, I just wanted you to see this in print. So one cycle of this breath is to draw in through the left nostril and to release through the right. Then to draw in through the right nostril and to release from the left. Then we will draw in through both and out through both. Now, when we're practicing a breath like this, it may, you may notice that one side or the other is easier to breathe through. Be patient. The more that you take the extended, when we take a breath from this region, from further up, it actually can clear out the sinuses. So even if it's difficult in the beginning, that's just proof that this is a necessary meditation for you and a necessary practice. It means that one side of the channel is a little clogged. So the left portion of the channel has to do with the feminine aspect, that which in us has the ability to listen, be still, receive, financially gain, and participate in the allowance of our life and of our experiences. It may also mean that we've got past stuff coming up that is sort of clogging this internal line, right? And so the only way to do this Drano is really through this breath. And it's something you might not even notice was clogged before you bring the breath to it. So as you notice, just keep bringing your patience and consistency. And if in any part of your mind starts to participate, but I can't, but that's, you can't breathe through one nostril and not the other. Yes, you can. And don't worry if some breath is coming in the opposite nostril. This is a practice developed over time. So just plug into I can and keep anchoring into that central heart chakra, aiming like an arrow, connected at the center, drawing in left. And the placement of the tongue is going to help this. Drawing in left, that energy is now circulating. As we draw in left, it's circulating the right direction down through the governor's channel and back up again as it exhales right. And then in right, down, out left. Then in both, out both. Now you do not have to maintain the visual of that channel. You just needed to know that that's what we're doing. And from this point forward, that is what it is doing. So, now we settle into the meditation. It's easier for you to focus on counting as you draw in left. See if you can get that inhale to equal 4 count. Out right, 4 count. In right, 4 count. Out left, 4 count. In both, 4 count. Out both, 4 count. Allow your eyes to close and relax, as if the eyelids are just dressing for the eyeballs. And continue in left. Out right. In right. Out left. In both. Out both. Repeat. Continue to follow this pattern of breath for the next few moments. As you continue to connect to this breath, begin to sense the Dandiyan. Sense that there is soft golden orb, glowing, lighting up the lower pelvic region. And the breath is fueling and being drawn in at its roots, being drawn in by this point of light on the left-hand side of the lower pelvic bowl. And as the breath fuels the dandian, that shimmering 0.05% of stardust begins to be activated through the governor's channel on the in left or in right breaths. And when drawing in through both nostrils, that shimmering light is traveling through the central channel and awakening these two channels which fuel the entire chakra system. Now begin to release the cycled breath and allow for the breath to follow its own pathway now. And all that light created and amplified begins to spread out. And through the intelligence of light, it travels to any space within your chakra system, within your physical body, within any organ, system, bone, or aspect which needs balancing. You don't have to know what that is. The intelligence of light. So now as we still allow our eyes to remain closed, bringing your palms up and around, above, to the sides, to the crown, down, in front of the central heart chakra, palm to palm. Bringing these palms back to the third eye point, brow point, where the thumbs can gently touch. Om. Down to the throat, where the thumbs gently touch. Ah. Back down to the heart. Hum. Om. Ah. Hum. Om. Ah. Hum. One more time to the brow point, allowing the palms to break apart. Spreading back out to the sides, palms down toward the floor. Resting on the thighs. Drawing in a full and intentional breath and releasing it through the mouth, filling the bottom, middle, top, releasing bottom, middle, top of the lungs. In the second breath, we release the meditative hold. And in the third breath, in that exhale, we allow our eyes to open simultaneous to that exhale. So, I hope that you enjoyed this class, the first class of Tour of the Chakras. This is an 8-week course starting with this class. So there are 7 weeks to progress and move through each of the chakras. What you would have the opportunity to receive is a study pack each week, which describes each of the chakra of the week that we are working on, and gives you plenty of information on the practical aspects of that chakra, physical location, the subtle body it's connected to, and how to harmonize and bring in balance that chakra. including work with color, meditation, physical and practical practices in your daily life, music, and a variety of different tools to assist you in this process, in really exploring inner space. Additionally, we will meet once a week for a live course. If you can't make the live, that's okay, because you can do this all on your own through video. However, additionally, I will be making myself available for Q&A and any questions that you might have or assistance with any of the challenges that you have. And so whether it's in our class or doing an additional Q&A live where you can ask the questions that you have in regards to the study, that's part of the benefit of doing a live course, is that you can really get to the heart of your own individual pathway with this. So technically, in the past, when I've offered this, I first created it and wrote it in 2012. And as I have done live courses with it, because it is the length of a college semester and is as quality a course as you could receive at a university level for a subject, if this subject were taught in universities. It has previously been priced at $555 for the 8 to 9 week adventure. And for this, I wanted to offer the special because it might be the very last time that I teach this course live. So what I'd like to offer you is, through watching this video and ordering, that it is $333 for the duration. And if you need to split that payment in half, you can send half in the beginning and half midway through, and you will be making out like a bandit. So I really, really, really absolutely do love this course. And I hope that you enjoyed this class and know that there's no obligation, having joined the class or experienced it, to join a larger course. But it is an opportunity that I do offer you. You can reach me by email at mysticteacher428@gmail.com if you want to sign up or find out about any future courses and free classes that I offer. Additionally, I will be putting out a blog, and I'm very close to mounting my first podcast, which should be out by the beginning of September. So if you're wanting to stay in contact to find out about those things, to be able to listen or read all of the things that I am putting out there, then please do stay in touch. And I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful night, day, wherever you are in time and space. I hope you know just what you are made of, which is limitless possibility, each and every one of us. All right. And as I do love to say, go within or go without. Bye for now.